Okay, so the for the success of this, I think the first thing I need to do is explain um what the project is all about, the aim of the project. So the aim of the project is simply to compare different Earth models, right, with each other. Basically, that's just the aim. Right. So let's commence. The first of you need a GIS software. You can use any. And again, all the process that will be working us through. There are a lot of ways to go about it, but let's proceed. Um, so first thing we want to do is get our working data. So to do that, just search for Nigerian, economy. Just search for Nigeria, entrepreneurship fire. For this first one, right? Click, scroll down, click on this shape.zip on to download it. And let's see it. You can say start downloading. Okay, so you download this. Can see. Doesn't really take long. So let me copy it in my open directory. Is a minute. So here's my open directory. Right, so I've created a folder called data wherein I paste that zip file, right? Then I created process. Let me just rename this. So the work process is divided into two. Some we will do in Excel, right? So let's name Excel. Some we will do in QGIS, right? Then some we will do in software. Now all three of them are in the processing phase. Like, so you can start. You have set our class structure as you want. As yeah. So once you launch your QGIS, just click on this to open it. Then you want to bring in the data. There are different ways to bring in the data, of course, but I'll go through the data source manager here. Right, cause vector data set. Right, go to the homework directory. Okay. So just select the zip file. Don't need to unzip. Click on add. Then you are going for this one with the 7. Then add, close. Alright. So now the question is um which state are we working on? Let me use going to confirm. So as can be seen here, my own work is Katsina, so let's be swift. I'll try to be as fast as possible. Hopefully you guys can carry along. So this is the admin shapefile for the whole of Nigeria. What we can go ahead and do to this is maybe duplicate this layer, then yeah, now we can now filter this top layer. Can name this one Nigeria state. Nigeria state. This one. Um, name it as um, let's rename it as I think it was Katsina last one. Katsina. Yes, Katsina. So reason being the fact that we'll filter this to just that now. So come right click, filter, click on a new one, double click actually, press equals to here, then do this all. Right, so search for Katsina, double click again, click on test, click on OK. So you can see Katsina has been brought in. So our next mission is to search for the tool called create grid. Right, each type point grid extent, select, you click on the drop down, calculate from layer Katsina. So this we should actually reproject and do everything and maybe change the CRS, or can just leave it as it is, and we still get what we're looking for. So run, close. I don't think it works successfully. Um, yeah, it did not work. I said taken point, click on here, Katsina, 0.1, 0.1. Oh, I think I edited this guy. Let me show this class too. So, yeah, that's that. So now let's count. Just to know if all I've done is okay. So you can run this count points in polygon feature. Select the polygon. It's not compulsory again. Run it. Close it. In the attribute table. So we're up to 1 point. That's fair enough. So you can go ahead to delete this count. Yeah, I say right. Um. mm, mm, mm. So our next mission is to run something called refactor. You don't need to run refactor actually. Um, there's a feature called add XY. Yes. So run this on this grid. This thing is already selected. Right. Leave it as is. Oops. No problem. I want us to save it. So you say click save to geo package. Right. So instead of data, go to processing, save it in QGIS. So the folder name, maybe this is Katina Point. Katina Point. So you can see Katina 0.1 grid. Okay, right, so you can see that that's been added, so you can now remove this initial page. Right, and when you open the attribute table of this, you have FID, ID, left, right. This is what interests us, X and Y, right? So now we can export this, save feature as, how you save it as, let's save it as a CSV. Might not be selected, but you just click CSV here. Then the file name, click on that options listing to go to the file path that you want. So go to processing. I want to select QGIS. So what should be the CSV name? Name it same thing we name Katsina Katsina Visual. This is Katsina Grid. Let's name 21040551 Katsina Grid. Right. So we don't need all these other ones. All we need is our FIG and our XY. So you just deselect them there and click on OK. So yeah, that's done. Oh, we have not saved our work folder since. So save, Control V. So this we need to use QGIS data. So just save it as 21040. Or I am saving it as this my matric number. Um, right. So now we can go ahead to, we're done with QGIS actually. A minute, please. So yeah, all I've done now is just to close the QGIS that we don't need already and the life. So you come to the file, come to QGIS, and we can open the CSV that we created, right? So now what we want to do next is save it as a text file. I mean, I struggled a lot with this before because I was always trying to close the CSV initially. If I click on that, it's just text that they want. So just the text file works. They don't, their server doesn't take CSV. So now, this thing that I'm talking about, that the server doesn't take CSV, let's go there. So now you want to search um, Geo, um, get values for C. Let's search. And so you click on this first, this one here. Oh, I think this is the one we're looking for. Yes, this is open link in the net. I'm sure it's this one. So let's just click on it. This one was what we're looking for. All in a place. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. Okay. So now all we need to do is choose our file. And go to the working directory, processing QGIS, the text file. See that it's zooming into the place. Oops. It looks as though I exported the wrong file from QGIS. Because if I exported the right file, it should not be this much. Anyways, this should be long glass instead, and this should be WGS64. But it means them just first fix down. So QGIS is downloading. So I figured out the issue was I forgot to do a very important thing, which is to click the data. Right, so let's run this click vector overlay to our input layer is casino. Our input layer is this casino grid 01. Our overlay layer is this casino layer. Um, so let's save it. Save secure package. Save. Then we want to add something like 210. Since I'd rather just do it again. Comment. This, let's run this to again. Um, create the clip first. Extend should be layer casino 0.1. I mean, this can vary by state actually. 0.1. If your state is small, you cannot use this. So run. The next, I want to run my clip. Clip by casino. Run. Close. I remove this clip. Now this clipped one, we can run add XYZ. So let's say, so select the old one. So, so 104.05501 or casino 0.1 clipped. So what I have to do next is run this add XY solution. Yeah, I think that was what I ran. Open attribute table and confirm. Yep, it's there already. So now can remove this one right here. And now I can export this the picture as CSV. I'm going to working directory, replace this.
select just the field that I need, the FID and this XY. Okay, um, okay, I need to close it first. Um, overnight, now let's open it again. Okay, it's done. Let's close it. Close. Save, close. Then now open the CSV. Yeah, correct. So now can go back to this place. So come back to this place successfully. Choose style. Okay, sorry, we have not saved this CSV as a text file. File, save as, browse, change it to text, save, yes, so please, then you can close. Alright, so now you select the text file. Alright, so you see that it pops, it forms or aligns with cardinal boundary as you saw before. So what we want to do is select the model, say you are downloading for AGM 2008 first. Then you want to download this geoid, which is the undulation, gravity, right? And this H topo over J, which is your the optometric height. Now this H topo over J will be the same regardless of the models or model that you pick here. That should be noted. So leave every other thing as is. So long lat, name of the file and the model reference system there. Click on start computation right here. You should start working this. You can see 2 1 points matching exactly what we counted it to be initially. So all we have to do now is just simply change the model. So I know this one of the model. So go scroll down. Every other thing is still selected. See, three things that we need. Start computation again. You have to get come for the next one. This one. Start computation again. Alright, start with scroll, scroll, scroll. 1 minute. This one. Alright, start computation. Which other one? This start computation. There's one left. SGG something. PFG, this one right here. So that's everything. So whilst we are bringing more in, this ones have been covered. So we want to go to results. You can click on results for the other ones too, so that we are not waiting. Results, results. So now we just click on this point download point data. So it's going to download the work for us right here. Right. So you can close that. Next one download. Correct. Another one download. Complete. Download. Complete. Right. So I know I've done for this before. Let's do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one, download, complete, close. Last but not least, download, big, print, download, complete. So yeah, so now you can simply come to this page, go to our downloads, okay, copy this or cut rather. Alright, so this would, where should we put this? This is better suited in data, right? Paste it, right? So when you open, in case your this thing wants to open with something, just right click and use open with notepad. But me, I've set my own default to notepad, so double clicking will just suffice for me. Alright, so this is what is being loaded in, and we have this. When you go through this, you see identifier, longitude, latitude, h top over L, which is 0 for all and will be deleted. These are the last three columns are the data that we read, right? So for us to do this successfully, um, best way to go about it is just, as you have this selected, create new text files, right? So let's do this. Copy directly from that end of wall, head, copy, create a new one, paste, copy the model name to use it to save it. Control S, Control V, oops. So our where should we save? We should save inside Excel because all of this is Excel inclined. So even though it's a text file, save it here, close, close. Go the next one. You can copy the name first, Control C. Then now note that I'm copying this. Control C, Control N, Control V, Control S, Windows V, save. Right. Close, close. Open the next one. Copy this first, the name of the model first. Of course, there are different ways to go about this, of course. So right, copy the points, Control C, Control N, Control V, Control S, Windows V, right, save. Open the next one, copy the name of the model first, Control C, highlight the points, Control C, Control N, Control V, Control S, Windows V, and save. Right. So the last one, okay, so on to the last, double click, copy the name, Control C, highlight the points, Control C, Control N, Control V, Control S, Windows V, and the last but not least, our reference model. Control C, Control C, Control, oops, yeah, Control N, Control V, Windows V, oops, Control S first, then Windows V, yeah, it is done. So, can close all of this now. Alright, so, oops, carrying on, want to be as swift as possible. Carry on, let's have it that we had created a new, um, yeah, file. Basically, you just launch a new Excel and create a blank document. Right, search for Excel, then create a blank document. Quite simple, yeah. So let's bring in our data. Let's bring in, click on data, click on from text or CSV, then select this text documents that contain just the ID and the X and Y. So so just use data in there. Okay, yeah, beautiful. So bring in the other then from text or CSV. So now we are going to Excel now. So we are bringing in uh all these uh all these text files import. Click on I want to bring something else in first. I want to bring them in the reverse order with which they were listed in the project. So bring this import load. Alright, so again come to data tab from text to CSV. Then bring in the next one. Then load it in. Right, data tab from text to CSV again. Next one is dot load. Alright, so it's done. The next one, and that will be data again from text to CSV. So we'll bring in the JEP 2008 last because that's our reference version. It is best closer to it. So let's go for this again. And now let's bring in the STG. And now, of course, the last but not the least, our reference number, which is EGM 2008. So we can close this. So now you will observe that this fourth column is a useless one. So let's go ahead and delete it across board. If you look at this last column here, see that it's exactly the same thing across all the different media, and that's because it is um, supposed to be our automatic. So, anyways, rename this as ID. This is our longitude, and this is our latitude. This is our geoid, and this is our geoid for what? So it's also our undulation. So let's name it N. Let's name it N space N underscore. So N space is fine. N space Windows O. Name of the model. Secret in bracket. So I know which is right. And this will be gravity, which is G. Our gravity is G now. G open brackets. That model name again. Alright. Last column. Um, H. So this one is independent from the model, so we leave it like this. So copy, paste, 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 paste. Alright, so that's done. So what we want to do next is um rename these ones so that it's carrying the model, the correct model name. So you have Windows V, AGS 2008, this one is SSG. Oops, that's just one. This one. Right. So we have this. So Windows V again. The last word of the is Windows V. This one's for HDL. Alright. So now let's save our work. More options. Um, um, console 7. So let's say 210405501 favor Taiwo work um, physical geodesy, mm, Excel, quite a long name actually. I think just let's just leave it at this. Right, so what we want to do next is like harmonize the data by bringing everybody together. I go. So to do that, my interest us to maybe let's show this a bit. So then come here, can copy, can just copy this, copy. Alright, so paste as number. So need to replace the table feature. So you want to move this cut, move this as cut cells, right? Control S, right? So and let's copy the other modules. So just copy this for all the other modules. Copy. So we need to rename this sheet. So rename, let's say combined, combined data or harmonized. Let's use the word harmonized data. Let's control S. So let's copy the next one. Right. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And so that is done. So now I'll just be walking us through the remaining parts so that I can concentrate and do my work without having to explain too much. So basically, we may choose to rearrange this. I think we should do that. Cut, paste, oops. So cut. So now we use insert cut cells again. Cut, use insert cut cells. Cut, insert cut cells. So I basically just putting all um undulation data together. Insert cut cells. So using the insert cut cells, shift those gravity data forward, right? Instead of overwriting whatever is already there. So when we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 in total too. So now we can now have our residual. So let's say this is residual 1, right? So the residual 1 will be equals to um will be the residual 1 will be equals to this minus this, right? Which is equals to open bracket s, can just name it somewhere like this. So it will be for SGG dash UGM dash 2. Right, so that's what our residual was. So instead of, can just let's just leave it at this for demonstration purpose. So you have something like n, right? So this one will be equals to this cell right here minus this cell right here. So just double click on the when it shows that plus sign and everything will be automatically computed for now. Right. So I think I would like to do this instead. So right, comment. So remove this. Select three for final sleep. So the model name copy, 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 copy. Right. So this paste. So the R4 on. So what this implies is this residual 4 is your EGM or our EGM 2008 minus model XGM distance. So first, okay, so now R3 is equals to that of so we can save again. So we repeat the same thing equals to this cell minus this cell. So next one is equals to this cell minus this cell again. So this section is equals to this cell minus this cell minus as we know this equals to this cell minus this cell. So it's done. So of course, you're supposed to do the same thing for the gravity data. Um, but since I'm simply trying to just use this as guide for us. So what we'll do next is to do that ANOVA analysis. And to do that, just come to the data tab. So you have the data analysis. This thing. If it's not embedded in your own, check online, you'll see a video for it. Um, so I guess you can reach out for video for the link to the video if you are able to see. So click on data analysis. Right, so select ANOVA single factor scaling up. Okay. So it's asking what's the input range. So select the input range. Alright. Control shift down. Very nice. So it's grouped by color. My labels are in my first row. So I want to save it in a new worksheet called um, modulation and analysis. Right. So it's automatically completed for. Right. So obviously we'll repeat the same step of getting the residuals for our gravity too. And also we repeat the same step for getting the ANOVA analysis of the residual. Right. So just to help us with the software interface, what I want to do next is create a new. I think I'll just finish my work and then create a new. Let me finish my work. Yeah, not doing that. So let's do for the gravity. Just see what for the just name this to G. So this the arrow. Okay, so I guess I can name it something like um, grav. Images of addressing, you know, and so of course this is equals to 2008 minus this equals to um, Alright, so save. Um, so something else that can be done. Let's do this data analysis again. Number factor. And say so let's run this as everything. Shipping. So where what's the data? The data you just came on this to this photo sheet down. Alright. Yes. Okay. So you can successfully remembering this. I saw all of this as its own information that is passing across, null hypothesis passing and the likes of that. So it's interpreted data. So from this data analytics we bring, there's also something else we can do, which is descriptive statistics. I click on OK, and click on select everything, necessary. Alright, so input range, let's get that 7, 3, 4, 5. Control shift up. Alright, so this for the gravity of first. Alright, so where should it be saved? Aspect range. I want it to be saved at gravity as maybe colon G. Enter. Okay, done. So come on to this some nice data. Let's do the same thing for this two or this 5 colon, which is colon Q and U. So data analysis, descriptive stats again. So Q should be Q, should be U. So where should it be saved? Should be saved inside this special stuff. Search. That's it. Alright, so it's done. So, yeah, so that's basically it for Excel as a whole, honestly. So what we want to do next is go to software, create a new worksheet. Alright, so this new worksheet, copy our uh, L long class. So copy, oops, this, paste. So note that for all of the work to be done, all that needs to be done, well, will be it's repetitive just for all the different models and values. All the 23 mass is basically going to be the same process flow. And so let's save this. What do you want to save as? So let's come to this page, processing software. Right, so in this software, let's create 2 folders. One for the gravity and another for Detroit. That's because typically when you're using software, you might have like 4 files created there. But so yeah, you can leave the automatic writing. So let's just say auto write. Save it. Okay. Alright, so it's saved. So next intention is to um come to page click on who you take, can leave it as plugin, browse, select that, okay, can go through it, but I'll finish. And so it has been graded. So come to a new plot document and click on file, new plot document. And so this new plot document, let's do something. Let's add our 3D surface. Right, so open, yeah, completed. Let's bring this online. Now we can also add in um, can add in our color relief. I don't see the information to visually passing. So instead, I would rather add my contour map. Right. So yeah, select it, click on show base, click on show color scale, drag the color scale to place, right? And this here, and maybe put the title to its map to um, future. Yeah, so what should the text be? Say which state am I working in? Katsina, I think. It's Katsina. So um, Katsina, okay, metric, height, maps. So, Katsina automatic height map. Yes. So okay. So I forgot to do this then. Increase the size. Okay. So let's escape. Let's edit this. Control A. Increase to bold. Right. Okay. Let's increase it a little bit more. Control A. Increase. You can change the set. And so right? Or simply just use um, just right. Check already that please very quick control underline okay condition should be down right. So control S so auto right right save this one and extend this to export auto exported it as image. So it might not be automatically selected as JPEG or you just scroll by clicking on this drop down. Just save. Right. Okay, that's all. So the rest now be simply you plotting for every other value that you can see here as the Z. That's all. But let me show us once again. Create a new worksheet. Right. Copy the XY. Paste. Our new Z now will be this one. Copy. Paste.